Welcome everybody to part 3 of building Microflash, my Beetleweight combat robot. I'm Jason, the creator of Team Rocket Robotics, and today we're talking about something that just fell off the robot, but as I toss the thing into my hand, but we're talking about this kind of mass in the back here, this collection of blue and gray PLA 3D printed plastic, because today is all about prototyping the engine block, and there goes another piece off this robot. This is all going fantastic. Okay, so let me dive into some fast playing video. There may be a little bit of rock out the techno music, maybe a little bit, but let me just talk about what's going on here as I run some video right now. So all I need to do was figure out how do the drive motors actually fit into the frame of the robot. It turns out, long story short, they don't. I got to extend things out a little bit, but that's all right. There's some big changes coming to the frame, but more on that in episode 4. Because the funny thing is, coming from a tabletop game background, 3D printing plays a very different role than it does in a lot of other industries. Because in the tabletop game industry, 3D printing is actually part of the manufacturing process, whether it's being the thing that you use to make the molds from, or in this case here, warning, shameless plug, inbound, actual miniatures from the Kaladesh universe that are 3D printed that you can buy straight from me. But in most industries, 3D printing is all about rapid prototyping, and that's what I actually decided, hey, why don't I do that here with the motors and all this kind of stuff and figure out, make sure things actually fit like they're supposed to. So, went ahead and modeled some things up, so I got some accurate dimensions of the motors. I kind of built about different motor mounts around them, and I ran into some problems. This is very good, right? This is rapid prototyping. Build something, see what's wrong, do it again and again and again. After the first time, I had a nice long list of 6 things here that I needed to change. I went ahead, did another prototype. Well, still kind of sucked a little bit. See it flat here. I did, let's do it again. And, yeah, that one didn't go much better. Third one also had problems. A lot of it had to do, first of all, with the motor clamps themselves are a little too wide, so that was one big thing. I did the sizing wrong. That was another big thing. Then, of course, you had situations where even though these are not the final 3D printed motor mounts, the original final motor mounts are going to be 3D printed. The orientation I printed them on, the stress was in the same direction as the layer lines, and there was delamination issues, so I had to print them at a different orientation. And then one of the biggest problems I had here, if I hold it up one of the pieces here, this is like representation of the angle metal that's going to be used in the final motor cage. And this angle metal, even though it's a lot stronger than, say, a non-piece of the angled metal. Now, of course, these are 3D printed PLA parts, but I've actually tested this with some actual 16th inch aluminum here. The stuff that's not angled is a lot more flexible than the stuff that is angled. So that's why I really wanted to go with the angled aluminum, the angled extruded aluminum instead of the flat bar. But these pieces made it really hard to put the motor frame, the motor cage, into the frame. However, I did one fourth and final design, and it worked pretty well. Instead of trying to attach these angle bars directly to the frame, I ended up adding some extra little motor mount tabs to the angled bars, and then those could attach to the frames. I can get around a lot of the big issues, which brings me back to here. So as you can see here, this is going to be the final mock-up of the motor cage. I've actually built a lot of the aluminum pieces of the motor cage at the time I'm recording this, and I'll probably be assembling all that later live on twitch.tv/Rocket Robotics here in the next few weeks. Of course, this thing is a little bit too big for the frame, but that's intentional. All these frame pieces are getting reduced in size to save weight, but like I said, more about that. But at this point now, I've got a pretty good idea of how big the biggest chunk of this robot is. And I can now set in space for the weapon motor. We can probably put the weapon speed controller in here, normal speed controller back here, batteries back here. And I get a final proper design of the frame, figure out where all the little holes for the bolts and things need to go exactly, and then prototype up the frame using 3D printing. So, with that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Once again, my name is Jason. Hey, I didn't have to do any, well, maybe I will stick in a few little bits of rocking out the techno just to drive people crazy. But once again, thanks for watching. I'm Jason, the creator of Team Rocket Robotics. Go ahead and follow me here, or follow me on twitch.tv/Rocket Robotics to watch these parts of the build live. And go ahead and subscribe here on YouTube to see the latest updates on this robot. I'm hoping within about a month I have a functional robot of some sort. And then hopefully it all works. It'll be ready for combat. But I don't know. I got to order a few more parts. We'll see how things go. But once again, have a good night. Wait, I don't need to say that again. Thanks for watching and have a good night.